watching. And this is the Sunday following the big storm coming our way this Wednesday. So hopefully, as you hear this, that we managed to be okay, that it wasn't as severe as they predicted, and no one was hurt, and hopefully not too much damage as well. So let's pray for that. That'd be possible. I think it will be. I always tend to lean on the optimistic side. Anyway, our gospel this coming Sunday is Matthew 16, 21 through 27. Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly from the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed on the third day, be raised. Then Peter took Jesus aside and began to rebuke him. God forbid, Lord, no such thing shall ever happen to you. He turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You're an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human being do. Then Jesus said to the disciples, Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What profit would there be for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? What can one give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the Father's glory, then he will pay all according to his conduct. Well, last Sunday's gospel, we had Peter being exalted. You are the rock, and upon this rock I will build my church. That's pretty lofty position, high praise, come from no other than Jesus himself. And then today, I guess maybe Peter let it get to his head that he's the rock, so he tells Jesus off. Imagine pulling Jesus aside and telling him, God forbid, Lord, this is not going to happen. Who are you? God, you're telling me? He meant well. No one likes to see anybody they love suffer. But not only that, it's the Messiah, the Son of God, and yet that doesn't fit in the plan that has we imagine things should be. You're the one, in your glory, the power. You can't be the one who suffers like that. Anyway, that's what seems to happen here. And he said he must go to Jerusalem and suffer the hands of the elders and the scribes and the Pharisees. Now, chief priests, and the scribes, These three groups of men were in fact the three groups of which the Sanhedrin was composed. The elders were the respected men of the people. The chief priests were predominantly Sadducees, and they're the ones who do not believe in the resurrection. And the scribes were Pharisees. In effect, Jesus is saying that he must suffer at the hands of the orthodox religious leaders of the country. It's not the people that we could think that would make him suffer, but these are the ones we have on a pedestal. They are the leaders. The orthodox religious leaders are the ones that turn against Jesus. And I wonder if Jesus came today, I wonder who would accept him. Usually the poor would, the downtrodden. We who have our degrees in theology, who have studied, we know better. We'd be the ones probably not too accepting of Jesus. It's the simple, the least, the last, and the lost. Anyway, so as Jesus says these words, it just sort of is out of his mouth without any hesitation. Peter blurts out that, this ain't, reacted with almost violence, Peter. And Peter brought up the idea of the Messiah of power and glory and conquest. To him, the idea of a suffering Messiah, the connection of the cross with the working Messiah was, it doesn't go together, it doesn't match, it's incredible. So he caught hold of Jesus, put his protecting arm around him, as if he was his superior, that he knew better. And then, my God, Jesus says, I'm from the rock to build my church. Says him, get behind me, Satan. Yikes. How quickly things change, huh? Peter, we're a lot like Peter, not that we're in the exalted position. No one's all good or bad. We're complex. One day we can be the most charitable, kind, patient person, right? And then the next day, like, whoa, huh? We have Satan within us, and that's who we are. That's part of the human condition, I think. So that's why I don't be careful putting anybody on the pedestal. Because, we're complex. Of course, the saints, they outstanding in their virtue, so they really worked upon themselves and been prayed in God's grace. Though they may exhibit that side, it was within them, though. It was within them. They're disabled by God's goodness, and by their, striving, did not show. So anyway, the point is that Jesus commanded Satan simply, be gone, get behind me. Anyway, become by follow. Satan is managed from the presence of Christ. And Satan literally means the adversary. That is why Peter's ideas were not gods, but men. Satan is any force which seeks to deflect us from the way of God. Satan is any force that takes us away from the way of God. Satan is any influence which seeks to make us turn back from the hard way that God has set before us. Satan is any power which seeks to make human desires take the place of the divine imperative. And that is the big struggle within ourselves, society, that we know better than God. And let's look around the rules, what we do. Abortion, we know better than God. We know what's right. We tell God that, this is not the way it's going to be. We know what's right. And the craziest thing about the following Christ is that we must suffer. We must die to ourselves. The thing that we try to avoid at utmost is what Jesus invites us to do, to pick up our cross and follow him, to die to ourselves. We must die to ourselves. Not easy, but that's the way of the Christian life, and that's where you find peace and by God's grace. So anyway, whatever you're dealing with, practice that mortification, practice saying no to yourself, and say, your will is what I desire, because that your will is where my happiness lies. God bless you. All right?